Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to this new transmission of this new program. For those that are following me, I'm super happy to share also in English. This program that is based in compassion, in healing as compassion, in my own healing journey. It's what I've been tapping into. I'm more than happy to share with you about this topic. And for those of you that still don't know me, my name is Angela Potes, and I just recently graduated from Compassionate Inquiry with Dr. Gabor Mate. And in these different videos that we will be filming every other week or so, um, I'll be more than open to share, to answer your questions, to to be able to give you a little bit of a taste of what compassion, healing through compassion is about. And I'm just saying hi to everyone that is connecting and just giving you a little taste of what that kind of a healing journey may do for you. So, before I go into that, I also want to mention that if you stay until the end of this video, I'll be giving you a little gift. So stay tuned and stay until the end. Um, I wanted to mention that the reason why we chose this title, When the Body Says No, it's actually elucidating one of the books from Dr. Gabor Mate that is actually called When the Body Says No. And more than the title of the book, I wanted to really portray the importance of when have we actually listened to our body? When is it saying no? Have you actually done anything about it? I, in my personal experience, have experienced several times in my life that I'll have to stop and attend to the body's needs to because of physical illness, burnout, depression, anxiety, chronic physical illness, you name it. So when we say when the body says no is really attuning into that, listening into what the body is actually saying us, and most importantly, how can that be part of a spiritual practice and, well, in some cases, in most cases, I will say, as part of the healing of the body. There's three main questions I like to address in this live, and I just want to take the opportunity to say hi to all of you that are connecting and that are saying hi. And these questions are the following. The first one is, what are embodiment practices, and what can they do for us in part of this healing journey? The second one is, what is the body's healing potential? And the third one is, how can we use embodiment practices / compassion-based practices as a spiritual practice while healing through the body? And this last point is very critical because, as we know, from a spiritual perspective, we're here in this human life to remember who we are. But as we don't remember who we are, we're going to be discovering what is actually blocking that experience of authenticity, of our real self, of our true self. And why not? The body in this case is actually another opportunity to do so. So, how can we actually use the body to remember who we are? All right, my friends. So, as I said, when the body says no, it's actually guiding me to stop. When the body says no, is it whenever we have a symptom, not necessarily an illness displayed already, but it could be a symptom. It could be a headache, a knee pain, a stomach pain, any kind of ache that is somatic, right? So whenever we have these callings from the body, what are we actually doing? Are you actually attending to it and moving towards it with compassion? Or are you actually saying like, no, 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 I have things to do. I better get out of this. I just put my meds and I just keep on going. Nothing wrong with medication, but what I'm actually saying is like, are we having that moment of awareness to stop, to take in what's going on at that present moment and notice? Otherwise, the body is going to keep on saying no. So, whenever we are giving that moment of awareness, of noticing, of stopping, those are like three main things: stop, be aware, and place attention. Then place attention to what, or stop for what? So, from the perspective of compassion and inquiry, not necessarily every single human pain or ache is a repressed emotion, right? I mean, it just can happen if I just randomly hit myself with a table. Of course, I'm going to experience this because my pain receptors are going to receive the shock, and that's completely human. What we're talking in these videos, it's going a little bit deeper. Most of us, and I would say 98% of us, which have not yet tapped into the information or into the comprehension of somatic healing and what it can do for us, do not actually know that, first of all, we are repressing emotions. We have repressed emotions our whole lives, pretty much. And then that these emotions, there's a cost for this, and the cost for this is very high. These emotions are going to be somewhere hidden, encapsulated, collapsed within the body. And from this perspective, illness emerges. It's nothing to be against you. It's not a judgment, and it's not a punishment. And this is very important to be mentioned. It is just an inner state of your actual self, of that little part of you that is hurt, saying like, hey, do you mind taking a minute and just like, attend to me? When we don't do that because we don't know how to do that, and that's fine, it goes to the body and it just creates symptoms, pain, illness, you name it. So important to mention that, of course, in this experience, we're gonna be, we're gonna be experiencing pain, but we're talking about deep rooted emotional pain that is being somatized through the body. Now, what are embodiment practices and why is it important that we talk about them or just mention them to you if this is the first time you're hearing about this? Embodiment practices, by definition, these are practices that they use the body as a tool for healing through self awareness, through mindfulness, through connection, through self regulation, finding balance, and creating self acceptance. From the perspective of this live series, from these videos, through compassion. Why compassion? Because anything in your life that you have done, even, like not attending to yourself, we have to see it with the purest compassion. There's no judgment, there's no error, there's no mistake. And the trick is, can we go through this from the lens of compassion? Therefore, when we actually look from that lens of compassion, it's like saying like, oh, I just didn't know about this before. I didn't learn about it. But now is the time, now that I have this information, like the awareness, the consciousness in me is expanding, it's extending. Now I have this tool, and now I can apply it to myself. And that, my friend, is when it becomes part of the spiritual practice, not only of the healing of the body, which I will talk about in a few minutes, but in terms of the spiritual practice. Because the spiritual practice is now, at this moment, whenever these symptoms, they flare up, whenever the headache is here, whenever the fever, you name it. How are you actually going through that symptom? Are you numbing its intention, its call to be attended? Or can we actually just take that moment and say, okay, you're here and I'm here for you, and that's fine, right? So it's always from where we're going through these experiences, because of course, if you take the medication or if you just rest, it's going to go away. Everything goes away because this is a temporal dimension. Things come and things go. Even a physical sensation in the body, it will come and it will go, and that's okay. But how are we actually making that transition, and how can we actually hold ourselves while going through that makes the whole difference. Now, let's talk about the body's healing potential. The body, the nature of the body is for us to be constantly in health, meaning that we have optimal energy levels, good sleep habits, good eating habits. This is the natural way of the body. However, in life, since we don't know how to respond to difficult situations, this becomes stress. This becomes stressful situations. This becomes it could be poverty, it could be like separation, it could be relationship breakups, it could be immigration, it could be losses of jobs. Many things arises in life. However, what happens in the body is not the result of what actually happened, is how the body internalizes what it actually happens. So we have to speak about the mind, because it's how we interpret a specific situation that we're going to internalize it into our organs, into our nervous system, and it will have an effect. The nature of the body is to keep itself regulated and healthy. However, as we do not know how to transition through that, therefore, illness, symptoms, pain, other things come along just to teach us. So it's not a punishment, it becomes an actual miracle. It becomes an actual way that life, from that very wisdom, very deep part of itself, is telling you like, hey, it's time for us to attend ourselves. It's time for us to remember who we are. With somatic embodiment practices, what I really like about them, and I would recommend them for you, is that for those of us that did not know how to actually address and be with ourselves through particular situations, it's a way that you can use the tool in a very slight, non-punitive, non-forceful, not harsh way to actually attend to the body's movement, kinetics, and openness, and so forth. So I don't know how many of you guys have been to a massage. I've been to plenty of massages in my life. I love them. And have you been in like one of those, like the masseuse is just very like, like hard tissue, deep tissue massage? Because those were the ones that I would love to go to. And then like what somatic practices, for example, Tai Chi or yoga, they're gentle. They can provide, not throughout like that deep pressure to go into the actual body. It will just tap and say, you know what, there's another way that we can actually address what's going on at the organ level, at the system level, and make the body come back to that stability, to that homeostasis, to function back in regular health. Nothing wrong if you like the other. I'm just saying, like, the nice thing about this practice is like Tai Chi, yoga is gentle, and it has that same wisdom of making the body align towards stability, regulation, connectivity, and health with no pain. Because I'm sure many of you guys have heard the no pain, no gain. Well, from a compassionate approach, we don't need to go through pain to heal. Otherwise, I mean, that's why there's a lot of resistance towards healing and towards like mindfulness and meditation, because there's a lot of misconceptions, misinterpretations. And this is an invitation, if you're watching this, to open up yourself to another way of healing. One that is like not necessarily softer or gentler, it's just natural, what is natural to ourselves, which is like this pure joy and health. So that's important of the embodiment practices, and the embodiment practices attend to the emotions. Emotions are energy and motion. Whenever we have, for example, I get scolded by my mother, this is an example. And if I don't know how to self-regulate, and if I don't know what to do with this, which is most of us, I'm going to receive this information, I'm going to interpret, and it's going to go deep towards my unconscious. It's going to trigger my limiting beliefs that, for example, it could be I am not lovable because my mother is scolding at me, yelling at me. And then from there, it goes directly into the body, has an impact into the body, into the nervous system, for example. And then which is normal. It's normal for us to create a stress response. What is not normal is for that stress response to become chronic. Why? Because it stops working. It's just constantly on the go and fire, and it just loses its magnificent function, which is just to warn us. Okay? So because of the way I interpreted the scolding, this is going to have an effect at the body level. With the embodiment practices, what we're doing is we're allowing that energy of the emotion to go through and finish its actual natural movement. So the energy is in motion. When the energy is in motion through Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, for example, it allows to emerge. We're not taking it away or fixing it. It's emerging. We're attending to it, and we're letting its natural flow to continue. So this softness and this very attentive awareness of what the transition is through movement, through very presence based movement, is what going to allow the energy and that moment to continue. And then obviously if you experience illness or symptoms, these are going to fade away. Now, once we understand what's going on in our mind unconsciously, and all of us hold this unconscious beliefs, once we come to that understanding, and one of the ways we can come closer to this understanding at a very personal level is going through it's coming to a CI session, for example. I call it compassionate psychotherapy. And if one of you is interested of doing that, like reach out through the YouTube channel, through Instagram, through my webpage, it's angelapotes.free. Feel free to like reach out and we can book it. That's one of the ways that we can unravel the limiting beliefs that are holding your experience of illness. Isn't that like mind-blowing? When I came into this realization, obviously I had walked through other paths, and those that know me, I'm a practitioner and my personal practice is based in A Course in Miracles. But when I came into this understanding of what CI was bringing to me, I really came to understand at the human level what was going on. Because A Course in Miracles is wonderful, but if not well discerned, it could bring into what we call spiritual bypassing, which I will talk about in a few minutes. Before we go there, I wanted to mention that what we think is very important, but not only what we think is what we attend to at the thinking mind. Whenever we capture that thought and we say, oh yeah, this is true, I'm not lovable. then directly the body is going to receive that same message. Sorry, I'm not lovable. So I'm going to make it true for you. Through what? Through illness. That's just one example. So the healing potential of the body lies within the mind. But it's very important for us to discern this. We're not doing any of these practices or any of these techniques, even the somatic work, to heal the body. Because the ego, how can I put this? More than the physical body, more than this physical form, we are spiritual beings in essence. If we are focusing our attention on purely becoming healthy, in a way you're attending the ego, because the ego, you may be putting your value, your self-worth on, oh, now I'm healthy, so now I may be lovable, or now I might be hired somewhere, or they may admire me in some way. It's always inquiring from what place you want to get that healing. You want to come closer to that healing. So what we're inviting us to do is, of course, we're going to attend those emotions, everything that is coming up. We're going to be there and we're going to feel it. And at the end of this live, I'm going to do a little bit of a practice for you, just a couple of minutes for you to have it. But just remembering that we're using the body as a medium, as a tool for healing, to understanding who we really are, that authentic self, that does not depend on health. The true authentic self does not depend on the health you have. Because yes, as we unravel the unconscious beliefs, that deep compassion, that love is going to be more expanded in you, and you may naturally be drawn to different modalities that are going to allow for that body healing. But in the end, because we're not this body, we are just deeply rooted in the purpose of remembering who we are. So yes, the body is the tool, but not to heal the body. The body becomes the tool of remembering who we are at the core, inner, deeper dimension that we really are. And as I said, as a byproduct, but not because of an expectation, this may change. Let's say your health may change, may benefit. This is what I've been experiencing myself. The more that I'm expanding in consciousness, in awareness, in love and compassion, the more that I'm drawn to natural ways of healing my body. But I have that deep understanding that it's not the body that I'm here to heal. Is that mind level, that unconscious level, that is drawing me to behave a certain way, to choose some foods, to choose some activities that obviously are going to have an impact in my body. So that's the gem of the spiritual practice. The spiritual practice does not require for us to read the Bible, to attend church, and for those that follow the Course in Miracles, to do the lessons, to go to the different groups. And I'm not saying for us not to do it. It's beautiful if you feel drawn to do it. What I'm saying is, at the spiritual core level, the spiritual practices now, at this moment, as you're watching this video now. Because then we're just going to fall into like being spiritual as we do these activities. That has nothing to do with spirituality. Real spirituality is how you're attending to the present moment, right here, right now. That is called spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing is when you're just like repeating constantly, like we are the light of the world and we are beautiful beings and we're just come from the oneness and this is all we're part of one. It's beautiful being said in words, but the actual deepness, that depth of the spiritual practice is to live what the words are pointing towards. So, as of now, at this moment, you can practice. And this is the actual call for this video, to practice right here, right now. Bring the body, bring that experience of the body, whatever it is, and bring it, seeing it with the light of compassion, presence, and awareness. And allow it to be here, allow that emotion to be here, allow that migration to be continued and to travel the way it's supposed to travel naturally, and come back to your true nature, your authentic self, who you really are. Now let's go into that little exercise. I'm going to invite you, if it just feels comfortable for you, to close your eyes for a moment and just place attention, conscious attention on your breath. We're constantly breathing, but we're not aware that we're breathing. Place attention there. Now, check in with the body. Do a little bit of a scan. You can start from your feet, moving towards the head, or from the head to the toes. Just using the breath as the anchor, as a tool. Just tap into the body. And just feel for a moment. Just feel. If I notice any sensations, any tingling, any numbness, any changes in temperature, or perhaps if there's pain, if there's a symptom, the invitation is to give it space. We're just going to be there for a moment. It only takes 30 seconds for us to be there. Hold it with compassion. Not because you want to fix it, just because we're attending to it. And as we bring this awareness, this compassion through the breath, the healing takes place. The dissolving takes place. Just be with it for a moment. Just breathe. Give attention to yourself. You deserve it. I'm going to invite you to continue this practice at your own rhythm, your own pace at home. This is creating awareness of the body. It's a little bit of embodiment, just tapping into being with ourselves, being with that deepness, with that depth that we are, or accessing as a portal of that. And because we're almost 30 minutes of this video, and for those of you that stayed until the end, I want to mention that there's a gift. The gift to you, my friend, is I want to give you a 30% discount. This is a temporal offer, has a limited time offer, and you can use the code 2022 compassion. So reach out to me, put it in the chat, reach out to me in my inbox, through my email, through my website, and whenever you want to. Oh, hi. Just 1 second. Someone is there and she's saying that she's not understanding because it's in English. Reach out to me. Remember, 2022 compassion. And I will give you the 30% discount in one session. How about that? Isn't it great? Thank you very much, my friends, for watching, for being with me in this video series. Remember that we're here to stop, to be aware, to be present of the present moment, which is the only thing that we have, and to really connect to ourselves. As we connect to ourselves, we're opening up to that depth, to that connection, that innermost connection that lies in us. And I also want to say before I close this video this is the journey of compassion. If you are, for example, punishing yourself because you're watching this and you said, oh, I should have done this before, or I have heard about this, but I haven't done it, no judgment. It cannot be any other way. Compassion is not about changing who you are. Compassion is about bringing back that light that you already are. Beatriz, I'm just going to say something in Spanish for her. Beatriz, sí, este es una programa en inglés, pero nada, te invito a que sigas conectada con lo que vamos mostrando. So I just saying hi to her, saying that yes, this is a program in English. So thank you, everyone. You know, there's a discount code there. It's a gift for you, and it's for a limited offer. So I'll be more than happy to hear about your comments. Share it, put like if you like this video, if it was helpful for you, and I'll see you very soon.